Speaking of karma and people who have done a lot of wrong, but have consistently done it within the within the confines of legality. Um, let's talk about the story. Unitedhealthcare CEO gets murked by a hitman. Now, of course, I must urge you not to Fed post in this chat, even though holy everyone. Like, I think this is one of the first instances where I've ever seen so much universal support for something that is so criminal. You know what I mean? Honestly, I don't know. We're living in interesting times. We're living in scary times. We're living in interesting times. Let's take a look at this story.
For the suspect who gunned down Unitedhealthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a New York City hotel. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, is at the hotel with the latest on the investigation. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning to you, Robin. 24 hours after this assassination.
Okay, what is Fed posting, though? Fed posting is when people just like get out of hand and say unhinged in the chat that might get them the attention of federal law enforcement. Also, oftentimes it's federal law enforcement that writes stuff like that in online chats to agitate people so that they can pop them, coerce people. But some crazy stuff happened yesterday in New York City. And honestly, very interesting times that we live in. Let's take a look.
Style killing. The killer is at large, but he left behind a trail of clues here at the scene that may lead police to him and to a possible motive, suggesting anger with the insurance industry. This morning, a frantic manhunt for the man authorities spotted on this survey.
So this dude, big homie over here, okay, Mr. CEO, walking up to his hotel, okay, having a wonderful day. He's like, man, I can't wait to get a child with cancer, no coverage, so their family is saddled with medical debt. Just a regular old day for Mr. CEO. He's just like walking over to my medical conference where I'm gonna go, hang out with a bunch of other CEOs, and we're gonna talk about how many claims we denied. That sort of shit. I assume that's what's happening in the mind of a healthcare CEO on any given Sunday, right? Like, you got to be constantly thinking like, man, $35 billion in pure profit this year. What a banger. Artificial intelligence to deny claims, 90% of which are actually wrong. What a fantastic invention I engaged in. How the medical innovation. Oh my Lord, the amount of coverage that we can just deny because we made up some random AI thing. So sick. Like, that's probably what's going on in his mind. Okay. I mean, he's up early. That's Sigma grind set. It's 6 a.m. Okay. He up early as hell thinking about all the ways in which he's going to ruin the lives of tens of thousands of Americans. Because if you're that rich and that's your job, why the f are you up at 6 a.m.? You know what I mean? Like, why are you up 6 a.m.? Turns out this guy, he out grindsetted the grindset CEO. Turns out he's up at 6 a.m. This motherfucker's up at 4 a.m. Okay? There's always a guy out there working harder, working smarter. He was like, oh yeah, you're up at 6 a.m. Guess what, dude? You're down at 6:30. Okay? That's what he said. Walks up to him, bloom, blap, bloom. Now, those weren't the sounds that came out of that gun, because as you can see, this is a very long barrel. Guess what? That's not a barrel. That is a silencer. Okay? That's right. Now, the interesting part about that is, no, this was not a fart. It was silent but deadly, but it was not a fart. Okay? It was a suppressor on his pistol. And most likely using subsonic rounds as well. That's the speculation on why the bullet, why he had to constantly rechamber after, what is that what's called? Like when your gun is jamming, basically. Which was really crazy because it looked like an open and shut, like, professional case. And the reason why I say that is because he was so cool throughout this entire process. I don't mean cool like, oh my God, he's like swagged out. That's a totally separate conversation. I mean, like he was cool he was calm cool as a cucumber. Like he was very calm throughout this process. He was very thorough. Now, people were saying that maybe it was because he wanted to get the casings after every shot, like collect it, professional hitman style, Sicario style. Turns out he wanted to leave the casings there, as a matter of fact, because he wrote stuff on the casings. He wrote stuff on the shells, which is wild. Okay. And when I first saw the story and I saw the media coverage over it, I thought it was very funny that people were like, yeah, this healthcare CEO got executed in broad daylight in the middle of in the middle of New York City, and the motive is unknown. And I was like, yeah, no, I think the motive is known. Like, it's one of those guys where I don't think this was a gay lovers quarrel. I don't think this was like, oh, his ex-wife called out a hit on him. Like, it's like that would be a unique setting. You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, if you heard Vladimir Putin got assassinated, you wouldn't be like, I wonder what the motive is here. You know what I mean? Like, there's many motives in that situation, but like, you feel me? Like, I doubt someone is doing that over the anger that they feel towards, I don't know, some kind of new tax that Vladimir Putin implemented, right? Yeah, a real Paul Pelosi gay lovers quarrel situation. So, interestingly enough, this happened.
This video shooting and killing Brian Thompson, the CEO of Unitedhealthcare. Police said it was
What's crazy is wearing a quarter zip in this profile picture. Like, it is such, at this point, it's such a meme. Like, these guys, they love their quarter zips, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing, dude? Why? You took a headshot, well, no pun intended, and you were repping the quarter zip in the headshot. What are we doing here? What's going on? Y'all don't got nothing else? You just got quarter zips?
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
The gun appears to have a silencer and jammed. When the shooter cleared it, police say he fired again.
From watching the video, it does seem that he's proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunctions pretty quickly.
All units be advised in regards.
So that's a really interesting predicament, because on the one hand, I don't know enough about guns, at least like suppressors and subsonic rounds, but like, I feel like if he was like a massive pro, I suspect that like some things that he did made me think that he is professional, but some things that he did made me not feel like he's professional. So I feel like when he has a suppressor on, like, shouldn't you be testing that at some point to make sure that it doesn't jam? Am I wrong about this? Gun perverts, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though, like, is it that inconsistent that even if you have a pistol, even if you have a suppressor, even if you test it out, right? Even if you test it out ahead of time, it still has the capacity to jam. So like that kind of made me feel like maybe this is not a pro, but also the fact that he cleared it and walked slowly and continued, eyes on the prize, that made me think he is a pro. The gun wouldn't cycle because of the subsonic ammo plus the suppressor. The gun isn't jamming. Subsonic rounds don't have enough power to move the slide all the way. Yeah, that's what I assume, but it didn't jam. You have to manually re-rack with subsonic ammo and a suppressor. The one they say delay is the one that blocked the gun, which is wild. It's not the ammo, not the suppressor, but it's odd he didn't test this since some guns will jam with subsonic ammo. Suppressors create more back pressure, so it should make the gun cycle faster. But if he had subsonic rounds, they would be quieter, but maybe not cycle the action. And yes, you would test it, but he may have removed the mainspring so the gun doesn't cycle on purpose because it makes it way quieter. The fact he was proficient in clearing the jam means he was expecting it to jam. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, putting myself in his shoes, right? In a situation, not when I'm like, executing the CEO of a healthcare company that is responsible for denied coverage to tens of thousands of Americans. I'm just saying, like, in a situation where, like, if I'm shooting a gun at all at a range and it jams, I don't have the technical proficiency to deal with it. I'm going to freak the out, right? So the fact that he was able to clear it while continuing to walk made me feel like he knew what the he was doing. So interesting stuff. Why would it change my opinion? Clearly, the gun is cycling because gas is being released from the top of the gun when it's firing and is experiencing an FTF. The only difference subsonic ammunition would make is what type of failure the gun is experiencing. Appears to be a BNT VP9 magazine-fed manually cycled gun with a. Wait, no, was it a man? No, it's not. This person just made that up. VP9 is actually on my gun wish list. I didn't realize I had so many gun in the chat, dude. What's wrong with you? Y'all are some real freaks, you know that? Like, what kind of, I've never even seen a gun like this. What do you mean this is on your wish list? I didn't even know this existed. Shit looks like a gun that a child would assume a gun looks like. Okay? This literally feels like a gun I would draw in like 5th grade before I ever encountered American gun culture.
I'm starting to see a bunch of comments coming through on mostly my Wellrod videos suggesting that Brian Thompson, the CEO of Unitedhealthcare, who is
gun channels are having a incredible time.
Recently killed in New York City, was in fact killed with a Wellrod or a modern VP9. All of those comments, those theories are in fact pretty conclusively wrong. I've watched that video, the surveillance video myself.
Okay, first of all, I don't want to give anybody pointers, like especially the surveillance state, but how the is CCTV footage in 2024 still so ass? Okay, what are we doing? You can't tell anything in that footage except for how cool the guy was in his demeanor. Okay, you cannot tell if that's a well rod or a rod. You barely can tell it's a gun. Every goddamn CCTV footage still in 2024 is literally Vaseline lens, 1P. Makes no damn sense. Kathy Hochul stopping congestion pricing played a role in the escape. It didn't, but I want him to put in congestion pricing.
And what I'm seeing there is a typical semi-auto pistol with a suppressor that has been set up poorly and has malfunctioned on almost every shot. We see the guy grabbing the slide and yanking it back to clear malfunctions. That may seem like the same sort of motion that's required to cycle a Wellrod or VP9, but it's not. Having shot a number of Wellrods and VP9s, it's definitely a different mechanic going on. And looking at that video, the guy is clear.
This guy, okay, bro, how many times have you shot a healthcare CEO, though? You know what I mean? Totally different circumstances, sir. He's like, oh, I shot a lot of Wellrods. Okay, not in the direction of a CEO. Maybe it's different. Have you thought about that? No, you haven't, okay? All you care about is the gun. It's a totally different, dude, you don't understand. It's a totally different motion in that moment. He knows how guns work, bro. Guys, I'm joking. Can everybody calm down? Put some respect on Forgotten Weapon's name. It's a joke, dude. I'm joking. God damn. Half a chat was making fun of the random debate lords at Cambridge who also do not have the capacity to understand jokes. And now they're doing it themselves. Gun perverts going to out themselves as assassin because everyone's getting it wrong?
Clearly trying to fix a regular semi-auto pistol. He is not shooting a Wellrod or a VP9. I'm starting to see a bunch of comments coming through on mostly my
Were you serious when you said the casings had writings on them? That's what they're saying. Anyway. United Healthcare orders employees to not talk to the press in the wake of the CEO's murder. What? That's insane. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's saying you can't talk to the... Oh, there's also new... Oh, God. One of the worst parts of being in EU is like every goddamn webpage is like, accept the cookies, mate. Do you accept the cookies, mate? Anyway, let's get back to it. So yeah, United Healthcare CEO is shot. A real doop situation. Okay, the guy just walks away. Now, that is obviously an interesting story in and of itself. But I think one of the more interesting aspects of this story, one of the most interesting aspects of this story, isn't even necessarily like the casings that he left on scene that said the words deny, defend, and depose, according to ABC News, which, by the way, is very similar to the title of the book, Delay, Deny, Defend, Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It, by J.M. Feynman. Shooter of UnitedHealthcare Chief Executive Brian Thompson wrote Deny, Defend, Depose on the shell casings. The words echo the name of a book about how insurers won't pay claims. It's an earthquake for corporate America. So, do you think he's mad they're reporting the casing words in the wrong order? Probably not worried about that for the time being, but let's continue.
Confirmed male shot in the confines of Midtown North.
Police say it was around 6:45 a.m. Wednesday when the suspect, pictured at a Starbucks before the shooting, gunned down Thompson as he was walking alone into the Hilton for an investors conference. And in new video overnight, the shooter seen here about 20 minutes before the shooting.
They're looking for a male about 5 feet 10 inches in height. Cream.
Yo, by the way, like, you know, don't get mad at me. I don't want to be like inappropriate here, but he looks kind of hot, dude. I cannot be the only person who immediately went, wow, clearly this guy has interesting style and also is kind of attractive, which is part of the reason why I thought if they catch him and he gets his message out and he's hot, it's going to be a far more consequential problem. They should let him go. Honestly, I'm not even joking when I say this. They should let him go, because if they catch him and they arrest him and then he gets to talk and says, this is why I did it, it's going to be a Shinzo Abe situation. It already has become a Shinzo Abe situation. And that's actually the truly interesting part about this story. Now, America, we have gun violence all day, every day. And usually the gun violence that occurs is some random guy who loses their minds for one reason or another, ends up killing some of the most marginalized people in society. It's either a white supremacist teenager who wants to kill like black and brown people. You go to El Paso, to Walmart in El Paso, shoots like as many brown people as possible, goes to a black neighborhood deliberately in Buffalo, shoots as many black people as possible. It's either stuff like that, or again, someone who's like very clearly mentally ill that goes and like kills classmates, right? That's the norm. It's not the norm. And I said this when Donald Trump was shot. It's not the norm when you got a shooter who's like, you know, I'm actually going to do something consequential. I'm actually going to effectively identify where the vectors of my demise are, and I'm going to target them. That's not normal. And that's precisely the reason why when it's business as usual mass shootings, everybody goes, ugh, thoughts, prayers, whatever, right? But when this happens, they're like, whoa, 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 you can't do that. That's an important guy. That's a rich guy. That's an important guy. That's a guy who has power. You can't do that. That's not allowed. Go kill school children. The f do you mean? The f do you mean you killed a goddamn Unitedhealthcare CEO? Excuse me. Those are your lords and your masters. You don't. What do you mean? No, you're supposed to take your anger out on random Americans, dumbass. The f. And it's really interesting. It's really interesting when a peasant rises up against the Lord, you know, because what I realized is when I see situations like that, maybe it's because I cover so much death and so much destruction that like it doesn't really faze me that much. I mean, I'm always like, that's interesting. It's usually the approach that I have. Now, I didn't realize I wasn't alone. I thought I was alone. I thought there was something wrong with my brain, you know? People took it way further than me. You go on TikTok. I went on TikTok. I saw the news coverage, and I would look at the comments, and literally everyone in the comments was like, oh my God, can you kill more CEOs, please? I was like, what the f? What do you mean? Hello? On Facebook, on your grandpappy's Clans meet, out there celebrating. Okay? What what is going on? On Facebook, the Unitedhealthcare Facebook account, which is such a funny thing. Like, why the f do you have a Facebook account, Unitedhealthcare? Anyway, they did that. They posted about the death of their CEO. And the post got 21,000 smiley face responses, like laughing, crying. Can you imagine my name, Deborah and Barbara, clicking on the post with like the 18 font and their tongue sticking out like they're and picking the crying my face off laughing emoji to respond to it 21,000 times? 20 now is at 44, 50,000. The Debras and the Barbaras are the ones who are not supposed to be saying that. Look, this is crazy. Look, United Health Group. We are deeply saddened and shocked at the passing of our dear friend and colleague, Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. Brian was a highly respected colleague and friend to all who work with him. We are working closely with the New York Police Department and ask for your patience and understanding during this difficult time. Our hearts go out to Brian's family and all who were close to him. 41,000 ha-has. Only 2.2 thousand kind of sad crying faces. 42,000 ha-has? 40? No, people are now saying it's 51K now. And it's like yet another instance where I think mainstream media and like all of the reputable outlets, reputable institutions, and everyone that's like covering this is diametrically opposed to the way that the overwhelming majority of the population is approaching the subject matter. Like the media is like thoughts and prayers. This person had a family, which is really interesting to say, and I'll get to that in a moment. I'll say it now. This person had a family. Yeah, you know who else has a family? The cancer patient who got their coverage denied. You know what I mean? Like this person had a family. That's crazy. I know. Okay. So does Bashar al-Assad. So does Vladimir Putin. Okay. Anyway, this person had a family. So did Ted Bundy, but most people were like this. Most people had this take. I'm sorry. Prior authorization is required for thoughts and prayers. 15,000 likes. Sending prior authorization, denied claims, collections, and prayers to his family. 16,000 likes. Was his trip to the ER really emergent? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't actually an emergency, and we were out $3K, full deductible. 5,000 likes. It's crazy what my first thought was, and then I look at the comments and realize I'm not alone in my thoughts. 1,000 likes. I just can't find the care. Maybe if they ask for pre-approval of my care, then after they care, their required deductible, I might be able to supplement some care. I can't even pretend to care. I hope he's looking up at us. So it's like, if you're a CEO in one of these sectors, I'm not going to lie, dog, like quit or, bankrupt the company and then start advocating for full-blown healthcare, full communist healthcare. Okay. Because goddamn, it's not me. I look, you're a titan of enterprise, okay? And so am I. I'm a rich guy myself. I would never say anything like that, but it seems like other people are saying it. Not me. Can't catch me slipping. I'm not saying it, but other people certainly are saying it. That's what I saw. I saw this and I thought to myself, damn, people are really upset about their health care. Then I thought to myself, if only there was a guy who wanted Medicare for all. If he was president, that motherfucker would probably be alive right now. I mean, it's true. Literally. Maybe he wouldn't have made like $900 gorillion last year, but he'd still be alive. You know what I'm saying? What's the JFK quote? Those who make peace impossible make violent retribution inevitable. Something along those lines, I think about that a lot. Or was it MLK? Ow, my head. No, that's not. Leftists are evil for wishing for people's deaths. Dog, if you think, and I'm being so for real right now, okay? I'm being so for real with you. You can fantasize about this all day, every day. Like, oh, it's the leftists that are doing it. If you think 51,000 socialists are posting ha-has on Facebook, you might have gotten shot in the head too. There might be a bullet lodged in your brain. Okay. Maybe you could be like, oh, TikTok, like they're all little commies or whatever. No, dog, it's your neighbor and probably your aunt, okay? The people who are excited about this is not just like some random card-carrying commie that you fantasized about. It's your aunt, okay? In between finger blasting herself to old reruns of Steve Harvey, she posted haha on the Unitedhealthcare Facebook post. Okay? That's your aunt, dog. Go check in with her. Stop fantasizing about card-carrying socialists that want death upon everybody, okay? Unless you think your aunt is picked up a copy of Mao's Red Book or some shit. She turned down the volume on Andy Griffith to pose the crying, laugh, and react, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna be so real with you. This is like way beyond. This shit is way beyond the normal lefties want blood attitude. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. If we ran a poll right now, straight up, if we ran a poll in America, if any polling company was brave enough to run a poll right now, anonymous, how many people think the killer should go free? You would be shocked by the results. Okay? You would be shocked straight up. If any polling company has the balls, they should run this poll. The last time I was ever shocked in the United States of America was when they burned that police precinct down, okay, after George Floyd. And then they polled Americans on it, and it was like 80% was like, we know why they did it. That is the last time I've ever been like, damn, things are different. This was a funny ass tweet I saw. My husband hasn't posted anything on the internet in years. He didn't even post the photos of our wedding, and he posted this. I think the hatred that people have for, healthcare CEOs, the hatred people have for CEOs aside, and they hate CEOs, I think, but the hatred that they specifically have for healthcare CEOs, like, dude, oh my God. Oh my Lord, things are interesting. You can't deny it. It's a shame the only political party interested in capitalizing on the rage Americans feel that this unjust society is the one who wants to direct it at immigrants and trans people. Democrats instead are like, it's disgraceful of you to be mad at our friends for killing you. Yeah, it's true. It's straight up. That was my first interpretation of all the ways in which people analyze this unconscionable act of violence. Chat, let me just say, I want to stress this importance, okay? I do not, what's the word? I don't want to fuck it up. I do not condone the assassination of insurance CEOs, healthcare CEOs. I do not condone it. I condemn it, okay? I condemn. Just want to get it out of the way, Just want to say it off the rip. I don't want anybody clipping anything else and running around. Maybe 6 years later, I'm at a debate stage and someone comes up and is like, at a time when there's a lot of political violence, don't you feel responsible for healthcare insurance executives getting assassinated? I don't want none of that. Okay. Yeah. Little bro will put the condemnation in the bag. Okay. I will. Kind of lame. Sorry. But having said that, having gotten my condemnations out of the way, my very sincere condemnations out of the way, it is very interesting. It is very interesting. I would never say it, but what I'm seeing other people say, oh my God, okay? Not me. I would never say it. You can't even catch me thinking it. But what I have seen from others is that Medicare for on the ballot, 100% of the votes. Okay, full table sweep. I'm not saying nothing, but it does seem like people are very mad about the healthcare situation in this country. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it, but many people are. You feel me? So let's talk about this. Claim denial rates by insurance companies. Now, Unitedhealthcare happens to be at the tippy top right after Medica there, as you can see. All right. 32%. Now, the numbers, this that leads to tens of thousands of people dying. Okay? Just so you know, all of this leads to tens of thousands of people dying every year. Now, the problem is this kind of death is handled by so many people, so many hands touch it. And not only that, but it's streamlined and it's legal. And perhaps more importantly, it's at the behest of the profit motive. When those three things are combined, most people, even if they feel it in their hearts that it's like no different than murder, they don't necessarily have the same analysis. That's why you don't think of this guy as like a ruthless warlord who's individually, killing children and babies, even though his actions are directly responsible for it. And yes, very famously, Champagne socialist Frederick Engels, gay lover of Karl Marx, second Engels mentioned in 24 hours is crazy. He called this concept social murder, the unnatural death that occurs due to social, political, or economic oppression. He coined this in the 1845 work, The Condition of the Working Class in England, whereby the class which at present holds social and political control, i.e. the bourgeoisie, places hundreds of proletarians in such a position that they inevitably meet a too early and unnatural death. This was in a different category to murder and manslaughter committed by individuals against one another, as social murder explicitly was committed by the political and social elite against the poorest in society. And social murder is invisible in many ways. It's very visible when it happens to a loved one, but the way that society is designed, especially under capitalism, is the system is designed so that you don't really realize who's doing this. Okay? Let's read the full quote. When one individual inflicts bodily injury upon another such that death results, we call that deed manslaughter. When the assailant knew in advance that the injury would be fatal, we call his deed murder. But when society places hundreds of proletarians in such a position that they inevitably meet a too early and unnatural death, one which is quite as much a death by violence as that by the sword or bullet, falling into a chimney. I think they had chimney sweeps back then. Like little kids would die when they were doing chimney sweeps. That kind of stuff. Or maybe when your healthcare coverage is denied and then you die, or you kill yourself because you can't take on the 60 grand in medical debt, or you choose not to get the proper medical attention because you can't pay for it. That sort of stuff. That's what factors into the social death. But yes, when a worker is in such a position that they inevitably meet a too early and unnatural death, one which is quite as much a death by violence as by sword or a bullet, when it deprives thousands of the necessities of life, places them under the conditions in which they cannot live, forces them through the strong arm of the law to remain in such conditions until that death ensues, which is the inevitable consequence, knows that these thousands of victims must perish and yet permits these conditions to remain, its deed is murder, just as surely as the deed of a single individual, disguised, malicious murder against which none can defend himself, which does not seem what it is, because no man sees the murderer, because the death of the victim seems a natural one, since the offense is more one of omission than of commission, but murder it remains. And that's precisely what this is. This dichotomy exists within state violence as well. State retains a monopoly of violence, and therefore when the state engages in very violent ways, it is not considered violence. But when an individual fights back against the state, then it's violence. That's why when police use tear gas on unsuspecting protesters, it's not considered to be a violent act. That's why newspapers say violence broke out when protesters kicked back the tear gas canisters in the direction of the police. So that's what it is. That's what exactly this is, right? What 2 days in Oxbridge does to a motherfucker. Oh, come on. So That's what happened here. And I think a lot of people, even if they don't fully understand that this person is responsible for a lot of death and destruction, I think that they are getting there. Does that make sense? I think people are recognizing they're angry, and they're recognizing a little bit why they're angry. That's all I'm saying, you know? But let's get back to our shooter.
Jacket, black mask, black gloves.
This eyewitness snapping a picture of the suspect as he fled.
I was shocked, and I feared that
All right, bro, chill. Like, maybe he didn't know what he did, though.
could shoot me too.
By the time police arrived, the suspect had run off and hopped a bicycle to get away. Detectives now working to determine whether he had pre-positioned that bike close by. New video overnight showing the suspect pedaling his bike on the Upper West Side. Officers found the 50-year-old...
No way. He's just still biking around?
Working to determine whether he had pre-positioned that bike close by. New video overnight showing the suspect pedaling his bike...
Is that even him? I just don't... Armchair urbanists rejoice, by the way. But like, do we even know that that's the guy? Because what he's wearing is such a normal fit. It could be anyone, really. I don't think that's the guy. I think the cops should just give up on looking for this guy. It could be anybody, really. I don't think that innocent victims should get caught in the process and be harassed. I feel like that's not him. It's not the same bike. It doesn't look like the same guy. It just looks like a different guy. Why are we harassing random civilians? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I saw the dude's face and I was like, I don't even know what he looks like. I can't see it. I don't know what his face is. I don't even know what a face is. I have face blindness, officer. Yeah, it's a real problem. I'm an anti-white racist. Was the guy white? I couldn't even tell. I'm race blind as well. I'm not only face blind, but also race blind. It could be anybody. It could be me. I don't know. I'm in England and I'm confused, you know? I'm just saying, it's a weird situation. I don't see color. And also, I am completely face blind, so.
The West Side. Officers found the 50-year-old insurance executive and father of two collapsed on the sidewalk. Did he have any known enemies or anyone that you've been able to find?
Yeah, the American people. Hold on. Stop. I'm just annoyed with the way the camera looks. Like, it's too high up. And I need to fix it. And I can't fix it. So it's annoying me. You know?
We're reaching out to law enforcement in Minnesota, and we're also interviewing his co-workers and family members to see if there have been any specific threats against him in the past.
To have a pillar of the community in New York, admittedly, for a stockholder meeting, to be gunned down on the street, it's just so foreign.
Even as the leader of a large corporation, Thompson did not have a security team with him. Investigators say they found
a real man of the people. Think about all the jobs this is going to create, though, chat. Trump's America, baby. We got new jobs coming in. These are going to need to get security, like constant 24-hour security. Think about that. God, if I was like a private security guard company, oh my gosh, so many veterans will be hired. Yeah. I do want everybody to know, yes, Brian Thompson won't see your cruel jokes about him because he's dead, but all of your friends that make millions and millions and millions of dollars off the debts of their customers will. Yeah, it's true. Meanwhile, really interesting time for Blue Cross Blue Shield to come out with some motion. Blue Cross Blue Shield in Connecticut, New York, and Missouri has declared it will no longer pay for anesthesia for the full length of some surgeries. Well, okay then. Just kidding. Blue Cross Blue Shield in Connecticut, New York, and Missouri, as of today, said, never mind, we're not going to do that, actually. They were like, yo, my bad. Hey, my bad. I had a real sudden change of mind. Okay? Real change of heart. Kathy Hochul, New York governor, said, we pushed Anthem to reverse course, and today we'll be announcing a full reversal of the misguided policy. Last night, I shared my outrage at a plan from Anthem to strip away coverage from New Yorkers who had to go under anesthesia for surgery. We pushed Anthem to reverse course, and today they will be announcing a full reversal of this misguided policy. Don't mess with the health and well-being of New Yorkers, not on my watch. Kathy Hochul's so funny. Like, did you shoot the CEO? You can't take credit for that. You're literally using your police forces to hunt down this person right now. What do you mean? NYPD response getting cooked on TikTok.
Yo, the billionaire who got shot, that was not funny. The police's response to that was hilarious. If you don't know what happened, there was a billionaire who got like assassinated today at like 7 in the morning. And the NYPD has been on the news all morning talking about like the footage, and they keep gassing up this guy. Every clip of the NYPD talking about this hitman is like, yo, he was nice. He was nice. He had to be a professional. If he wasn't a professional, he should have gone pro. His form was immaculate. You see the way he reloaded it when it jammed? Come on. Honestly, I've got my boys back in the station studying his form. This dude was elite. Used the silencer and got away on a city bike. Come on now. This dude is incredible. He might have been Jason Bourne.
He's not kidding. That's literally every morning news show with a retired detective on basically had this. They were glazing, which, by the way, I wouldn't even say glaze. It's like LeBron. Okay. It's like LeBron James. Like, is it glaze or is it valid? The question comes to mind. And I feel like the expertise that this guy demonstrated, I don't know. I don't think it's glazing. I think it's valid. I don't think it's glaze. I think it's valid. Imagine planning and executing the murder of a CEO in public in the biggest city in America, getting away with it, then going online and seeing a bunch of Reddit experts explaining how you're not a professional hitman. Yeah, I think a lot of people are haters, dude. I think people are just straight hating on my man. It's like, have you had a situation like that? I don't think so. I mean, straight up. Look. This statement in and of itself is not celebrating this heinous act, okay? This wrong act. You understand me? I would never do such a thing. I would never. You can't catch me slipping today. Do you understand? You cannot catch me slipping today. But also, I mean, it was clean. It was clean. Like, everybody's like, oh, well, he shot him in the leg first. Like, bitch, who cares? What do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that he was apprehended after unsuccessfully assassinating a CEO, because it seems like he was successful. I condemn. I do not condone. I condemn. But I'm just looking simply at the facts of the matter. Okay?
That is the funniest part of it. Like, even after all of this, the police are on the hunt for a hitman, and they still got to be like, yo, this dude's game is incredible. Game respects game.
How convenient that you have an alibi and that you're out of the country is on. Anyway, anyone know where I can find the full video of the assassination? Brother, are you kidding me? Where can't you find it? I think I've watched it like 700 times since it happened. And I was like looking away. I was like, oh, I can't see this. This sucks. I hate seeing this. This is really fucked up. That's what I said. I was doing this the whole time. Whenever I would see it on accident, because my timeline was just literally all that, I would do this the whole time, dude. All the way to Oxford from London. 2 whole hours in the car. I'm going this is what I'm doing. My mom and dad are like, what's wrong, son? What's happening? I'm like, the shame, the horror. I just, you hate to see it. New camera footage. Oh, yeah. Also, I don't know if this is the actual guy, but like, you know, even from the first photo where you can kind of see his face, like, he looks hot. So I know it's a different fit. They think it's the same guy. He's just wearing a different fit. I do think that you know, I do not trust the New York Police Department. Yeah, I like this post. I saw this. First time riding the subway. Who even said it was a guy to begin with? Could be a woman. So we literally have nothing to go on and should stop the hunt. That's what I'm saying. How can you be sure? I can't. Can you say with a certainty? Maybe it was Kathy Hochul. Look at how much she's chirping at Aetna and Anthem and whatever the fuck. Was it Kathy Hochul? Where the fuck was she? I think what's best is to take a step back at moments like this. The police, let me tell you something. As you guys know, I love the police. Okay. And as the number one defender of police, I think they have a lot going on. They have too much on their plates. So I think this is one of those instances where, given the limitations that they have with the job, which is a very difficult job, okay, all those homeless people that are, sitting on the sidewalk, unkicked, black teenagers frolicking about, unharassed. I mean, think about so many people that the police have to deal with on a daily basis. Maybe they should take a break. The blue flu. I'm just saying, there are Candy Crush levels that have yet to be tackled. Back the blue. Thin blue line, back the blue. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Cops, they have a lot going on. They have a lot going on. And I think, given that they have a lot on their plates, they should just kind of, take their time, figure it out, try to really reconsider. Anyway, let's keep going.
Shell casings with writing on them, including the words deny, defend, and depose. They also say they found a cell phone, granola bar wrappers, and a water bottle they believe are linked to the shooter.
See, now that could be anybody's cell phone. That could be anybody's granola. I've dropped my cell phone on the side of a crowded street and just kind of left it behind. Sometimes we have busy days, okay? We have busy days.
An assassination-style killing coming at the height of the holiday season while New York is packed with tourists for the nearby lighting of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. The NYPD increased patrols and security in the subways.
Day-to-day in New York is really scary, and I think that...
This is such a funny take from like a random person because it's such a very clearly deliberate, targeted attack. Like, it's not... Dog, I don't think they're going to kill you, okay? Like, what do you mean? Like, who should be scared in this process? Like, other healthcare CEOs. If I'm a healthcare CEO and I hear about this, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I am hiring the maximum security. Okay, like I'm hiring dudes that only did war crimes. Okay, like Blackwater mercenaries, but exclusively the ones that did the most amount of war crimes. I need just like the most roided up brigade around me 24/7. This guy, you're like a desk jockey analyst, okay, at some random corporation. Like, I don't think anybody's coming after you, dog. Like, it's not like if it was a mass shooting or something, like, yeah, that makes sense. You're like, oh man, America's so violent. Like, people randomly die in the streets. It's crazy. Like, this wasn't random,
Everyone here is doing their part to make sure that we have a safe event here.
A family is now grieving this loss. Thompson's wife, Paulette, telling ABC News, "We are shattered to hear about the senseless killing of our beloved Brian. Brian was an incredibly loving, generous, talented man who truly lived life to the fullest and touched so many lives." Police have not identified the suspect, but they are building a profile, Robin, of a man with a grudge, possibly against Unitedhealthcare or the insurance industry in general. Robin.
And what about the writings
You think?
on those bullet casings? What does that tell police?
That could be another clue toward motive. To take the time to actually write on the shell casings indicates not only premeditation, but also a deeply personal type killing. And those words, deny, depose, defend, those are words often associated with the insurance industry. Robin?
All right, our thanks to you, Aaron.
We actually have some breaking news just coming in the search for the...
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, I already said this earlier, but if they catch this dude and he says his piece and he's not, things will change. Okay, this is it feels like a real Shinzo Abe situation. Okay, straight up, like this dude will be a god if they catch him. You're so fixated on the hot thing? Yes, dude. What do you mean? Of course I am. People flick their beans to Ted Bundy. What are you talking about? People are freaks. This guy literally didn't do Ted Bundy shit. He did something that a lot of people seemingly, not me, but other people seem to agree with what he did. Okay. So yeah, public trial OD the decade. Have you been on Twitter? Look at this. He's got that hung smile, 30,000 likes. Not just Twitter, even your ops. Green text, all in agreement. He's celebrating the assassination. Wait, what? That I wasn't even live when the thing happened. Called insurance companies evil, said was deserved. Chat spamming RIP Bozo. I mean, so is everyone else. I didn't say that. I would never. I have not condoned. I have condemned. Yeah. What a crazy thing that 4chan do, by the way, is crazy. Wait a minute. Did someone on 4chan turn around and act like I actually celebrated the assassin to try and get me canceled, only to find out that other people on 4chan were like, yeah, no, everyone is celebrating. So they tried to drum up a fake cancellation on 4chan, and it turned out to be like a unifying moment. Like I wasn't even live when this shit happened. Is this real? Is this a real post? Yeah, I must have celebrated the assassination before it happened. I was wearing the shirt 2 days ago. That's so funny that my haters that constantly try to get me canceled. My haters that constantly try to get me canceled ended up making me look good, I guess. I don't understand. Trying to cancel you for things people would support you for saying if you did. Wait, they did. They literally did. They made this up. This is from, oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, so is everyone else. What the wrong with these people, bro? Just, I feel, back in the day, I used to joke about this shit where I was like, bro, the world could be ending and my haters would find a way to make it about me somehow. Like I could be not live that day and the nukes are flying and they'd be like, Hasan did this, 1,000 upvotes. Like that's crazy that they just like, that's crazy that they went there and like tried to do a cancellation by being like, oh, he's celebrating it. You were live at Cambridge Union at the time? Yeah. That is truly a insane thing. My brother, every day you're not live, I fully expect shit like that to go down. Yeah. That's so funny. Look at this. I'm torn between on Hasan and celebrating the death of a piece of human garbage. You can do both without being torn. I guess him today too, accidentally having a good opinion at once. I didn't even. That's crazy. This has 9,000 up. Bro, people are so stupid. It's crazy. Like last time you weren't live, they manufactured a situation where you were suicidal to the point that your IRL friends were concerned. I know. It is pretty nutty. Pro Mania popped off, 10 million views on TikTok.
They stepped over his body and started the meeting on time. He was in Manhattan at 7 a.m. for an 8 a.m. investor meeting. He got in front of the main doors to the building of the investor meeting. They could have had this on Zoom. Instead, they had to be there in person. Why they had to be there in person? Because we need to make sure commercial real estate is flourishing. He got by an assassin with a silencer while he wore a jacket thinking about PowerPoint presentations on how he is returning value to shareholders by denying health care to moms with breast cancer. And he got caught in the street and they stepped over his body. Those investors that he was working for, the shareholders that he held dear as a CEO, they stepped over his pool of blood. They kicked the shell casings that led to the end of his life down the street because the meeting still had to start on time. These companies don't give a about nobody. He's the CEO, the chief executive officer of a healthcare company. They didn't even check to see if he still had a pulse. They just wanted to check the stock price, which, mind you, went up 2.5% when they found out his ass was dead. Do less at work.
Anyway, I had to change. I hate dressing up, so undressing after wearing a suit is so freeing. Yeah. Show pit. Oh my God. Okay. The guns are out and unsilenced. Yeah. I had to take the silencer off. Just gonna leave this Lolo TikTok here.
No! Not the healthcare CEO. No! Curse it. No! Take my eyes, but not the healthcare CEO.
He's right.
No! Why? No! He only made $10 million last year. What can he even buy with $10 million anymore? Nothing. They approved 70% of the claims. They approve 70% of them. You want them to approve all of them? Oh, not the healthcare CEO. Why?
I mean, I said this. I said this when Trump was shot, bro. I said this when Trump was shot. America is a uniquely violent nation. Okay, America has a lot of guns. Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll get gun control now, huh? Maybe we'll get gun control now. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe. It was never a problem when you and your family were in the crosshairs. I saw a post about how the police were shutting, they were closing traffic in and out of the island, shutting down the bridges. And people in the comments were talking, well, my cousin got shot. They didn't, close the bridges. What's that about? Oh, I'm sorry. When a CEO gets shot, all of a sudden, we got to close down the bridges? People got places to be. What's that about? People are noticing. They're developing, dare I say, a little bit of class consciousness. I don't know. Yep, there it is. The number of CEOs getting shot matched the number of school shootings per year. We'd have gun control legislation passed immediately. 100%.
Dude, no way. Bro, what happened? What is it? It says here the CEO of Unitedhealthcare, like the insurance company, got gunned down in broad daylight in the middle of New York City. Dude, check this out. What the heck? That's nuts. Bro, I know. And it says in the article that the gunman is still on the loose right now as we speak. Oh my God. Is he okay? No, dude, the CEO ended up dying at the... Oh, no, I'm not talking about the CEO. I'm talking about the gunman. Like, is he all right? Like, has he fled the country? Is he okay? Does he need food, water? I don't think you could say that.
Yeah, I mean, true. That is what other people are saying. Not me. Chat, not me. Never me. I would never say that. I'm shaking my head when I see these TikToks. It's not funny. Okay? What is this? Shouldn't the American people be getting their money's worth? Yes, we waste hundreds of billions of dollars a year in healthcare administrative expenses that make insurance CEOs and wealthy stockholders incredibly rich, while 85 million Americans go uninsured or underinsured. Healthcare is a human right. We need Medicare for all. Yo, it would have been way more sick if he just posted that on a post about the demise of the healthcare CEO. Let me guess. I haven't seen this yet. Amy Klobuchar. Because I saw the post. I saw Amy Klobuchar's post. And I saw Tim Walz's post. And it hurt my feelings. I'm going to assume they're up there. Kamala Harris! Oh no! Okay, she was running for president. All right, let's look at the other individuals. These are institutions. I want to see individuals. Damn, Amy did this shit for free? Oh my gosh, she did this for 14 grand, dude. Are you kidding me, Amy? God damn, for 2024. Let's see. Maybe they cooked their last cycle. What? Amy, you broke boy? Do filter by candidate? Unitedhealthcare Group recipients 2024. I did do filter by candidate, no? Didn't I? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Amy didn't get shit, dude. She came out and started popping off her... Whoa. What the hell? Uh-oh. Deep State's coming after me, chat. Hold up. All right. Let's look at the new photos.
In yesterday's shocking killing of Unitedhealthcare CEO.
It's not the CIA. It's MI5. Benjamin Franklin of L. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs.
Police have released this. Look at this. This new photos coming in showing the suspected gunman
baby F, yeah.
inside a hostel.
Hold
like
on,
he's
lads.
smiling right there. This in the Upper West Side in New York City. CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst John Miller joins us now. This is a big piece of evidence in this investigation, John.
Well, it's a turning point. We have been asking the metaphoric question, who is the man behind the mask? At least we don't know who is the man behind the mask, but we see the face behind the mask now. And, police worked with these images. This is at a youth hostel, which is on the Upper West Side. They were there yesterday, last night, actually searching a room that they believe the gunman stayed in. They believe this is a picture of him. He kept the jacket on and the hood up and the mask up almost at all times, according to people in that hostel. But there was this moment at the front desk in the lobby where the mask came down, and you see that smile. And this is so far the only image of his face without a mask, the best image police have. And what they said is,
They're like, look at his beautiful smile. It's not even the same jacket. It's a different jacket, man.
even though it's not quality where you would generate a facial recognition image or something that would bring you to a mugshot if he had a record, what it is it's an image that if you knew him, a coworker, a friend, a family member, you would say, that's so-and-so. And that's why they're releasing it right now. They're trying to speed this up by literally crowdsourcing this clue to the general population.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly need the public's help, as it's now been more than 24 hours with this person, the suspect, on the loose. I mean, where do investigators think he is at this point?
Well, so this is a turn in the investigation. The idea that there was some thinking earlier on that he was a New Yorker because of the savvy way he moved through Midtown, stashed an e-bike, navigated through Central Park up to the Upper West Side, was seen on the Upper West Side earlier in the morning before the shooting, carrying a battery for that bike. It suggested a familiarity that suggested maybe he was a New Yorker, but the idea that he stayed in a hostel up there for 2 days in a room for 4, but there were 2 other men sleeping in there, so he stayed with 2 strangers, that may change the leaning towards someone who came from out of town and tried to stay in a place that would have a minimum number of cameras and not cost very much, and the kind of place where people don't notice people because it's very transient.
Do you know more about the timeline in terms of when these pictures were taken and this rare moment, as you said, where he put his mask down at the front desk at this hostel before the shooting? It just strikes me that he's in this picture smiling.
You know, I don't have the precise timeline, but in that police were up there yesterday and last night. They did a search of the room. The hotel, of course, cooperated with them and got these, the hostel rather, got these images. It suggests he was probably there Tuesday and Wednesday, but give or take a day. That's something investigators know. We have people up there now talking to them, and something we'll know soon, but it appears to be very recent.
What do police do in this situation, John, when, you know, it's been more than 24 hours, he's still on the loose, he could very well be outside of New York City and beyond? I mean, how far do they cast the net at this point looking for him?
Well, I mean, the real net is global, which is he could have gone to Kennedy Airport, got on a flight, and be anywhere in the world right now, which is another reason to release these photos, which show the face. But I think the current thinking is he came in from outside New York, stayed at this transient location, did the job he came for, and is probably back where he came from, which is yet another reason to put these photos out, because is he from Minnesota, where United Health is headquartered? Is he from Montana or Nebraska or somewhere that has nothing to do with this? Or is he from, you know, Pennsylvania? That's the wild card, and this may help spur that in terms of the crowdsourcing from the public.
Quickly, John, given all of your experience in law enforcement, how quickly, typically, after pictures like this that are pretty clear of his face come out, do you hear from someone who knows the person?
Usually very quickly. You know, I think of the last couple of serial killer cases that I was involved in the NYPD, where we finally got a full face shot with good lighting, and within hours of putting that out, we had people calling in saying, I know who that is. I'm pretty confident that this will work. When you look at that image, if you know him, you'll know him.
Yeah, it's true. We'll certainly...
Snitches. He looks like anybody. He could be anybody. I don't know what they're talking about, you know? Maybe it was, I have an idea. What if it was the CEO of a competitive insurance company? Have you thought about that? What if he was the CEO of another insurance company and he wanted to take this guy out because he's like, oh my God, you're denying way too much. Like, you're too efficient. You've eliminated too many redundancies. Like, you've denied coverage to too many people. Like, that's sick. I'm jealous. And then they did that. You should just arrest all of the insurance CEOs, all the healthcare insurance CEOs, just to be safe. A real dragnet, you know? I'm trying to find solutions. I'm trying to find solutions to the problem. And a lot of people are not understanding, like, I want this criminal, this disgusting crime to be punished. Okay? And the best way to do that is preemptively arrest every single other insurance CEO. Plus, they're free. Like, they're free of potential other violence. Like, because maybe it's a serial killer insurance CEO and he's going to go and kill other insurance CEOs as well. So this way, like, you get to put him in prison. So, like, they're not going to be harmed. You know what I mean? This is real 5D chess, boys. Okay. I'm thinking big. I'm thinking hard. Seems like a lot of other people are not engaging in the creative thinking that is necessary in this moment. And it's sad to see, honestly. It's a very sad state of affairs. It's sad to see. I don't like it. I want to put an end to this. It's for the safety of the public. Arrest all the other insurance CEOs. Just figure it out afterwards. You know what I mean?
We hope so. And it's so important for the public to help and to reach out to authorities as he is still on the loose after killing this Unitedhealthcare CEO on the streets of Manhattan. John Miller.
Before he was killed, Unitedhealthcare CEO Brian Thompson was facing a lawsuit accusing him and other execs of insider trading amid a DOJ probe. See, gotta arrest the other guys. I think, yeah. I think you have to arrest the other guys too, just to be sure. See, I think, yeah. See, there you go. You just gotta make sure. I'm doing this for safety. I think. People's reactions to a health insurance CEO getting assassinated are incredibly dark. Our apologies, but bullet wounds are covered only under a Platinum Plus package. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Look. I think this, like, your reaction to the story is dependent on the way you view society, right? If you think society is it's fine. It's not like things aren't that bad, right? Celebrating death of someone you assume is innocent across the board is a fissure, is a direct representation that, like, at least other people are in a very chaotic, other people have a very different assessment, right? And it's a scary situation for people like that. You know, the Jack Posobiec's of the world, right? Like the supposedly edgy right-wingers who jerked off to that one old Santa Claus looking mother who, like, shot the protesters, the climate change protests for stopping traffic. Like, all those guys are now trying to maintain the edgy status that they have and the audiences that they have that are edgy, while simultaneously also shitting their diapers because, like, they are definitely very interested in protecting the wealthy unconditionally. And I think part of that is because they just think like, you know, the social order is not all that bad. They don't, you know, they're either tasked with maintaining it and normalizing the pain, or they themselves are in a relatively privileged position, and therefore they don't understand why people would interpret the situation differently. You know, death isn't a bad thing. It's a part of life. Murder and death is like Sicily and Italy. What about the Abe assassination? Did people also react like this? Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I think it was a little different because with Shinzo Abe, there was a lot of, like, anti-Korean hatred in Japanese society as well. So when they found out why the killer did it, they were like, oh my God, he had a very valid reason. So their initial reaction wasn't that, but when they found out why he did it, they were like, oh, this is great. We're on board. Like, the assassin's wishes were fulfilled, right? So that's the difference, I think. Whereas in this one, everybody immediately knew what the motive was and everybody was on board, right? And if you weren't on board with this because you're like, well, this, like, kind of destroys the social order that exists, like, this is up. This is vigilante justice. It's, like, really messed up shit. I understand where you're coming from. If your immediate reaction to this and the celebration of it is like panic, you probably are in a situation where the current social order has benefited you at least enough that you don't fully understand why people are so invested in this. And you see it as, like, vigilante justice. You see it as anarchy, right? And it's scary. So if you're one of these people that is in a position of privilege, that doesn't understand why people are so excited at this prospect, I think it would be wise for you to try to figure out exactly why people feel this way. Because it's not that America is so violent. I mean, that plays a role in it for sure. But I think it almost feels like a pressure valve releasing for a lot of people where they think like, well, this guy's me over. Guys exactly like him have me over. They've my family over. They've ruined people I know's lives. Like they've ruined the lives of my loved ones. And now one of them got to come up. And now if you think that is inappropriate to think, then that's fine. You can feel that way. But if you want to fix this problem, there needs to be legislation. And I promise you, I'm not talking about the type of legislation that makes it like extra illegal to kill CEOs. I'm talking legislative solutions to why people are so angry, because their anger is valid. Maybe not directed towards this one individual CEO, but their anger is valid. It's real and it's not going away. You understand me? It's not going away. That's all I'm saying. I think it's time. It's time for some universal health care. Imagine if one party captured all the essence and all the energy and all the anger and all the resentment that people were experiencing and very openly declaring right now in this very moment, this pivotal moment, and said, oh, you know what? We have a solution for that. It's called Medicare for All. We've always been on board. It's great. You know, welcome to the fray. Imagine.
Thank you so much.
I want to continue the conversation and welcome in now Bobby Chacon. He is a retired FBI special agent and former leader of the FBI dive team. Bobby, great to have you. Just first, your reaction. I'm not sure if you can see the monitor, but this clear.
Yeah. Europeans watching Americans fix their healthcare system with gun violence. I mean, it's real. This is, in fact, a joke and not actual healthcare policy analysis, but you can find that below. Too bad the story itself would be the shooting and not the underlying reasons. I don't think it matters.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew.
I don't think it matters that the media is covering it as like this massive atrocity, or maybe even taking it one step further, taking it one step further, and then like openly stating that, people are being really gross about his death or whatever. Cat's out of the bag. People feel this way. And better yet, people were not even remotely afraid of saying that they feel this way. I'm seeing my mom's suburban middle-aged mom friends post stuff like, I hope more of them die. What is even happening, Lamau? By middle-aged, I mean people in their 50s. I am a mom, not a teenager. Also, I didn't expect this to blow up. My mother died of cancer in 2022. She didn't have insurance, and it had spread to her whole body when she found out in an emergency room less than a year before she died. They took down their page of their healthcare, their board of directors. No way. This is what we warned you about. Far leftists are unhinged and dangerous. Great. This right here, I think, is playing itself out in exactly the way I predicted the campaign would play itself out. Republicans' natural position is licking the boot. The Republican natural position is being servile to corporate interests. So in a moment where people maybe go a little out of hand, okay, surely this is not simply just being anti-corporate or anti-capitalist. I'm saying it's definitely taking it one step further. Having said that, however, they immediately reveal their true positions, okay? When you're a guy who's a Tim Pool fan and you're like, man, this shit is actually pretty dope, and you hear Tim Pool go, what are you doing? You're out of control. You're mad. After he sucked Kyle Rittenhouse's cock and the fat Santa Claus who shot the climate protesters, and then he clutches his pearls like this, and you're a Tim Pool fan who celebrated when those other two things happened, and you see him go in this direction in this moment, and you know how it felt when your father had healthcare coverage denied. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, what the f-? Do you understand? This is what I mean. I'm not saying Democrats should kill healthcare executives. That'd be insane. Okay. But if Democrats were pro Medicare for all at a time when it very obviously is something that the public is demanding, maybe even violently, Republicans would do themselves a disservice by constantly fighting against that. If the killer was pro NATO, would you change your position? Wait, what? What are you saying? I mean, this is pretty much the same reaction leftists like him have when a working class woman is stabbed to death at a bus stop by a repeat offender. This is such a funny take because no one has ever said that. And notice how you had to like make up a fake fantasy about like a random working class woman getting stabbed in a bus stop and not a healthcare CEO getting domed, because it's different. You know, that's a random person who was a victim of a heinous crime. Be careful talking. You're still in the UK about what? You think I'm going to get shanked, yeah? They're going to give you a Glaswegian smile, mate. No, I'll shank yous. It's also wild because the Daniel Perry incident, the Daniel Perry trial is also happening in New York right now. And Republicans have been like freaking out because he killed a homeless person. Like he just straight up killed a mentally ill homeless person on camera. And they're like, you have to free him. So no, they are the ones who celebrate when random, like the most marginalized random people get murdered. So no, that's what it is. You can either have an unconditional, I am no fun, anti-capital punishment unconditionally, anti-vigilante justice, or you can be a right-wing freak. You feel me? Right-wing freaks love when powerless people get killed. It's a power fantasy for them. They hate when someone in a position of power actually gets killed. And when school children get killed, they just go, oh, I love my guns. Sorry, sucks to suck. Thoughts and prayers. But there's only one group that they actually think is horrifying to do violence against, and that is powerful people. Because at the end of the day, their ideology dictates that they must be servile little piggies. Okay? What is this? I love Aaron Rupar because he has the exact personality of Snail from Armored Core 4. Like he's just brimming with white hot contempt, but it's inside of the package of a normal, annoying, scoldy news guy who calls everyone fam. That's insane. He posted an Armored Core reference. That's too much for me. That's too rich for my blood, you know? Anyway, just something to consider about who right-wingers, what kind of violence right-wingers celebrate. Here's Kylie Chung with a fire take. The way we're socialized to see violence only as interpersonal. Hold on, my food is here.
Pretty full-face photo now of the suspect.
Yeah, Rahel, I think this is the biggest development in the case so far. I think that there's somebody, a family, a relative, a friend, a coworker of this guy is going to recognize this. Now, you may have lookalikes, they may have to sift through some of those, but you're showing this image globally, and certainly within the United States and internationally, this is going to be all over, and someone is bound to recognize this guy as a neighbor, as a coworker, as a family member possibly. So yeah, I think that they are hours away possibly from actually having this guy identified if they don't have him identified already.
And Bobby, when you look at this photo, I mean, to me, a layperson, not in law enforcement, this feels pretty significant. I mean, if you know who this person is, you can see the person's smile, you can see pretty good facial features. How would you rate this photo in terms of it being able to potentially identify who this is?
Bro, she's like, he's hot.
Well,
she's like, you can see how hot he is. Look at that beautiful smile.
I would say it's not perfect, but it's very good. I mean, it's very good. You can see the shape of his face. He has kind of a unique smile or a grin. He seems very relaxed. I mean, I think with the nose and the chin and the smile, I certainly think people that know this guy, if they see this image, they'll be like, oh, that's so and so. So I think this is a great image to put out there, and I think someone's going to recognize this.
And then, Bobby, if we can just sort of reverse track what we now know. So we now have this photo. Police apparently understand what hostel this person may have been staying at. They have these shell casings with these words on it, delay and depose. I mean, from your vantage point, does it sound like they're closing in here?
Absolutely. They're closing in from several different aspects, right? So we already have the forensic evidence. Now we have possible motive, which is, denied coverage. And now you have this physical image. So they're coming at this from many different angles, and each of those angles is progressively getting to the person. I mean, I think it's very much closing in on him, on actually identifying him. Now it's a question of finding out where he is once you identify him. But yes, I think that the motive from those etchings and those rounds to me is clear, that this was a denied coverage type of event. In that situation, you usually have communications with the person who's been denied coverage, and those communications there's a series of them, and they grow in frustration. The person keeps getting frustrated at each turn that it's denied and appealed and denied. And so you might have a series of communications, however that is, probably emails or possibly the website forms on the company's websites, or written letters even, that show a increasing frustration on the part of the person or their family member in this denied coverage. And each letter gets
Why is this guy giving reasons?
Threats of violence eventually seep into those letters. You'll have somebody forensic linguistics go over this and look at those, but there's probably a series of communications that get more and more frustrating from the person.
That doesn't narrow it down, big dog. Just saying. That doesn't narrow it down at all, as a matter of fact. Tens of thousands of people.
Ending it, because nobody goes from zero to shooting someone in the chest. There's probably been communications that show a increasing frustration on the part of the claimant.
And just for our viewers, you are looking at another angle at the very least, or a completely separate photo of the suspect, again, without the mask. Bobby, what do you imagine is happening right now within the police force? Is this a sort of all hands on deck now? They have these photos, they flood the streets. I mean, what's happening now as they try to bring this person into custody?
They're combing Central Park looking for his clothes. He probably changed clothes in Central Park. They'll probably find the e-bike there, maybe his set of clothes that he changed out of. They're working the phones on international media like yourself to put this out to as many outlets as they can to get as many eyeballs on these two photos that you're showing now on the screen. I mean, these are great photos. Somebody's going to recognize this guy. So they're probably working the phones on every both national and international news outlet to get this worldwide image, because someone's going to recognize this guy. The forensic people are doing their job. The canvas people are out in the street still interviewing people both in New York and in Minnesota. And then the media people are really pressing the phones and trying to get this image.
The race to catch a killer in New York City, with new clues this morning after the brazen murder of Unitedhealthcare CEO Brian Thompson yesterday, just right on the sidewalk in the morning in Manhattan. Several law enforcement officials now tell CNN that two words, delay and depose, were found at the scene. Depose, written on a shell casing from a round that was fired into the victim. Delay, written on a live round not fired, but ejected when the shooter appeared to be clearing a jam. There's also new video of the encounter, and police say show the killer who planned the attack, targeted this man, and had experience with guns. Let's get right to CNN's Bryn Gingras, who was here giving us all of the breaking news as the details were just beginning to come in yesterday morning. You've been gathering details since. What's the latest this hour, Bryn?
Yeah, Kate, well, that, is a big piece of evidence that they uncovered there, according to our sources from John Miller, just because it might possibly point to some sort of motive here. If you talk about those two words, investigators are trying to connect the dots and see if it has anything to do with the fact that Brian Thompson was the CEO of Unitedhealthcare. Did it have to do with insurance, because the popular phrasing in the insurance industry of delay, deny, and defend? So that is something that is being asked by investigators right now. But that's not the only thing. Only piece of evidence, rather, that, of course, that investigators are looking into. We know there was a lot of things that were left behind by this suspect that right now police are trying to determine if they can get DNA off of, fingerprints, running forensics on them, trying, of course, to get closer to getting a name. And of course, we are asking our sources, are they any closer to getting a name in addition to finding this person responsible? Let's also talk about a little bit more of the threats that police are hearing were made against Brian Thompson. According to sources of mine, I was told that they were some concerning threats that the investigators had come across, really their security team for Unitedhealthcare had come across, made against the entire company of Unitedhealthcare, the CEOs, the executive team, and that was something that was being looked at. According to NBC, the widow of Brian Thompson, she told NBC that she knew about some threats and said, quote, "I don't know details. I just know that he said there were some people that had been threatening him." So this is also something that is of concern and what is being investigated at this time. So a lot of threads here, a lot of search warrants going on. We know that there was a search warrant at the hotel across the street where Thompson was staying in that room. We also know that investigators are still piecing together that timeline. We know that, according to sources telling John Miller, that suspect left the Upper West Side early yesterday morning, heading downtown, getting off at the 57th Street subway, and stopped at a Starbucks, got 2 power bars, bought a water bottle before actually committing this brazen, really execution. And investigators were able to get that water bottle, and hopefully, again, are trying to see if there's any DNA that can get off of that. So
It could be anybody's water bottle
this morning, but no idea just yet if they're any closer to finding who is responsible for this horrific killing, guys.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be standing by to wait for and hope for another update press conference from the NYPD at some point soon. It's great to see you, Bryn. Thank you. John.
All right, with us now, CNN national security analyst Juliette Kayyem and former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. And Andy, let's just start with these words. I mean, delay and depose. What a big development to have something like this, a message, a literal message from a killer.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, John. It doesn't quite identify the person at this point, but it's a bit of a tantalizing detail. I mean, as Bryn just noted in her piece, it raises some questions as to whether or not those words are a reference to kind of insurance speak. And that would of course point in the direction that this person was somehow, was certainly personally invested in this murder. And that, might be a disgruntled customer of the company, could be a disgruntled employee. And I'm sure that investigators are already looking in those areas. And of course, looking at the threat information that apparently the company had been receiving for some time about this specific victim and other potential victims on the team. But those words can also provide forensic significance later on in the case. If someone is detained and has writings in which those words appear in kind of the same context, you could have matches that way. And of course, you might be able to render a fingerprint or DNA evidence off of those rounds and casings as well. So very, very important piece of evidence for the investigators.
Yeah, to be clear, those words delay and depose and also deny is occasionally thrown in there as well, are words very much used by critics of the health insurance industry. I mean, there are books written, as Reddit. You don't have to do many searches to figure out that would be a message about health insurance. Given this message,
Am I crazy, or did they not mention deny? Like, that's one of the things on the bullets. Like, was it not? No, he said sometimes deny is also mentioned, he said, but he didn't say that it was on the bullets when I think it was.
All the footage now, Juliette, are you surprised we don't have a name, at least a name that we're not being told yet?
Yeah, and in fact, the fact that we're entering day 2 and that his exit was so sophisticated not only confirms what we already know, that this was not just a targeted killing, but a professional killing. I mean, just the specificity of it, his calmness when he reloads a gun. And now that he's missing suggests he was smart enough to have some sort of exit strategy. 24 hours later, you can't even confirm that he's still in the state anymore. And that will make it harder. We don't know if in the next couple hours the NYPD says that he hasn't, but I think what this is showing is that, first of all, we should just remind him, Brian Thompson is a 50-year-old man with a wife and 2 children. Yeah. So all the stuff about healthcare and everything bad about healthcare is just ridiculous at this stage. He is 10% of all doctors have some touch point with his company, with Unitedhealthcare. In other words, this is such a vast web of associations, and lots of people are probably angry at him. It's a customer service business.
Yeah, he was just a customer service representative. That's why he was making millions of dollars a year as a customer service guy.
Lots of people will be angry, and he's the touch point, or he's the focal point as the CEO of that company, and so there's a lot of people in that pool.
I mean, if you were running a healthcare company, would you be getting protection right now?
If I were, okay, so now this is going back. Looking at those videos, not only does he not have a detail, he appears to have no staff. I've never seen anything like that for a company that large. It may be that that he's always under threats. People are always mad at an insurance company. I spent a lot of time yesterday with people who are in executive protection. Everyone is ratcheting up until they know. Healthcare and other service industries where people are mad, angry, disappointed on the other end are ones in which CEOs are going to look for more protection.
All right, Andy, Juliette used the phrase professional killer. That may be art or science here. But how would you describe the level of skill in terms of the killing itself and also the getaway, and what that means about who this person might be and also the manhunt itself?
Sure. So we don't know at this point if it's a a professional act, meaning someone who was hired to commit this murder. It's possible, but we don't know that just yet. What we do know is an extremely well organized, highly planned, sophisticated attack. From everything we've seen so far, from the fact that he was seen carrying the battery to the e-bike, which raises the question of maybe he pre-positioned the e-bike before the attack to stage it for his getaway. The fact that he showed up at the perfect time, which was really a weird time to have the CEO showing up for this conference an hour and 20 minutes early, but he knew that the guy would be in that place at that time, which tells you he possibly did some surveillance to make that determination. His approach to the target, letting the target pass first and approaching him only.
Bro, you guys literally get mad at me, and I don't do a third of the glaze on LeBron that this man is doing for the guy. Which leads me to my question. 1, is this guy the LeBron of killing CEOs? Question number 2, how does this affect LeBron's legacy? Question number 3, is it glaze or is it valid? Because I think we call a lot of shit glaze, and sometimes it's not glaze, it's just valid. And for LeBron, it's valid, despite his, subpar performance here and there in the past couple of games. He just wants other people to also feel the glory, That's why they lost by 40. LeBron wanted other teams in the NBA to feel what it's like to be able to drop 40, He's just a good guy like that. Anyway, let's continue.
From behind where the victim wouldn't see him first and, raise alarm. And then the way he walks through the shooting, clearly very accomplished shooter, somebody who's done some training. He has the right stance. He has the right grip on the gun. He cycles through the jam in the firearm like it's nothing. And that's a clear indication of a high degree of training. So yeah, this guy was no joke, and clearly thought about this, organized it very well, and executed it according to plan.
How long could someone like that hide, Andy, do you think?
I think it's fair to assume that he put just as much thought and preparation and organization into his escape plan. The e-bike was really brilliant. It's an easy way to get around quickly. You don't get snarled in traffic jams. You can actually ride the bike into the park, which you wouldn't be able to do with a vehicle in the same way. So that was great. He's got the big backpack on. It likely has a change of clothes in it. I would guess that as soon as he got a moment or some cover, he took off that coat and the mask and the things that could identify him, and likely walked out of the park in a totally different appearance and blended right in with the crowds of tourists and people going to work. So he could be on the run for quite some time. Now, he's being chased by probably the best police force in the United States of America, maybe anywhere. They have an amazing video surveillance network to rely on. They've been very good about getting the information out to the public to get all these public eyes looking around and thinking and calling in tips. So I think they will get him eventually, but this could take a while.
All right, Julia Kayyem, Andrew McCabe, thanks to both of you.
So, speaking of tips, as soon as this shit happened, you have
We actually have some
with NFTs.
We're going to bring in
in their profile picture, immediately going, "We found him!" This guy, Riley. Wait, what? This is his friend, Anat, who shot with a low-tech camera footage of this kid going, it's not an NFT. It's not. It's a character from Brain Pop. Moby is not an NFT. Anyway, this guy had a big-ass effort post on Twitter. Worse than NFT is a webtoon. Okay, I don't know what it is. I don't care. Shut up, nerds. Okay? And he was feeling himself so hard, talking about like, oh, I scrape city bike information because I'm a boring loser. And I think I know what city bike like this killer most likely used. I'm working with law enforcement authorities, right? And he wrote this like massive Twitter post, and then everybody started dunking on him, and they're like, why are you snitching, you asshole? Yeah, here it is. I'm fairly confident of where the Unitedhealthcare assassin escaped to. He escaped on an electric city bike, according to the police. I happen to continuously scrape city bike data every minute, so I can see where individual bikes go. The only northbound city bike to leave within 10 minutes of the shooting from any dock near the hotel went to Madison Avenue East and 82nd Street. Bike 421-6511 left the dock at 54th Street, blah, blah, blah. And he reported to the NYPD. I have to assume Lyft/Bay Wheels is helping the police because they have more detailed info. This is the data that I have. These are the only bikes that left the 6 docks in a 3-block radius. Only one matches the time and direction. I can't believe my little data nerd experiment actually amounted to something in the real world. Lamau, I realize how crazy I haven't scraped city bike data sounds. I was going to do a little wholesome data visualization experiment. It really would have been crazy to use an electric city bike of all things. So obviously, we know what happened because we are living in the future. And the context also says, it has been shown highly unlikely that the suspect used a city bike and is fleeing at the scene. While this tracking is impressive, it appears clear both from the photo evidence and from Lyft representatives directly that the city bike was not used. But that didn't stop this guy in the process of flexing how sick he was for scraping this data and trying to snitch out this, like, some random person to the police and maybe getting them in trouble for the crime of getting a city bike. I forget why people was born police. And not only were they feeling themselves so hard, him and his buddy filmed this.
Low tech.
What just happened?
So there was unfortunately a very sad shooting in Manhattan where the Unitedhealthcare CEO was shot. Seemed like it was targeted. Very, very terrible. But then I was watching the news this morning and the police chief in the news conference said that the assailant fled on a city bike, on an e-bike. Which is like crazy that a criminal would flee on a bike, like especially a city bike. But I've been scraping city bike data for the past few weeks. This is not it right here. This is it right here where, I can see where every individual bike has been. So I can see, okay, like this, let's see, like right here, bike number like 2164382 entered a dock at 2:03 p.m. and then it exited the dock. Someone else took the bike at 2:13 p.m. At station number 1058, which is Columbus Ave and West 59th Street.
Yeah.
So using all this data, I can see, I checked all the possible rides that the assailant could have fled on, and there were like only 8 rides within the time frame of the shooting. Only one of them was headed northbound through Central Park, so that was, which is what the police said that the guy went through. So,
bro was feeling himself so hard he filmed this process with a camera that purposely looks old, and then he filmed the outside of his apartment like a dumbass because he wanted to feel important. He wanted to feel like he was in the conversation. Like, what are you doing? Turns out he wasn't even right, and now people are probably sending him death threats, which is inappropriate. I don't think being a nerd means that you get death threats. I don't think it's valid. No, it's not. It's not valid. It's ridiculous. Okay, he is not a pharmaceutical healthcare executive. Okay, shut the fuck up. He also kind of looks like he could be the shooter.
I'm like really, really confident that this one ride was where the guy ended up. So he ended up on the Upper East Side. So yeah, I tweeted this. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and a bunch of people reached out, and like the tweets getting a lot of likes now.
Yeah. Why the do you have this data, Riley?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I like making kind of fun, weird websites that show data in an interesting way, and like I thought it'd be cool to make a site that shows like in real time like all the city bike rides in New York. Because like this isn't data that you can normally get. Like I had to reverse engineer the Lyft app to get this, so it's like data that you really can't get normally.
Wait, what did you do?
So like in the Lyft app, if I like want to go and get a bike, let's say I like click on this stock right here, I can see that, oh, like bike 437034 is there and like 382600 is there. This is not public data, but like Lyft does give it in the app. Like it's not easy to get from their like public data APIs, but you can see it in the app. So I reverse engineer this endpoint, and then I set up scripts to like go through and check every minute, every dock in New York. So I've just been sitting on the data. I haven't made the website yet, but I have the data at least. So yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I've been sitting on the data. I haven't made the website yet, but I have the data at least. So yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Get it how I live it. Wait, hold on. Where's the new photo? Where the that photo where he's smiling, bro? Wait, this one doesn't have the
Let's bring in NBC.
How come none of these have the actual photo? Who has the new photo? Hold on. Bruh, I don't know, man. This guy right here, officers. Officers, we got him. Officers, this is the guy. You can't throw people off the scent. We got him, boys. That's right. Get this criminal now. NYPD, open up. He's the one. Get this guy off the streets, okay? Yeah, he thought he could get us with a camera, but I reverse engineered it with my 5-head hacker moves. Yep. Get his ass, officers, please. Are we sure the shooter is a good guy? After all, he went to Starbucks. That's such a funny take, dude. Yeah, no, he's allowed to break BDS, okay? He could have been chugging a Diet Coke in the process. Girl. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. They got the top minds on this data.
To bring in NBC News analyst Clint Watts, a former special agent with the FBI. Clint, good morning. This is a fascinating and tragic case. And when you look at some of these facts that we now know, especially this breaking news about an inscription of some sort on the shell casings themselves, what do you make of what we know?
Yeah, interesting, the different scenarios that can play out. One, it's a targeted killing, maybe sponsored by an entity, versus a personal grievance and maybe this individual had against the victim or the United Health itself. Looking at the two, the reconnaissance obviously was done and was quite remarkable. The shooting, the shooter was very good with clearing that jam with a weapon, would show weapon experience, the escape route and the pre-planning. All of that is in place, which would seem to suggest there's some professional, sort of capability there. At the same point, the engravings, that are being reported on the shell casings, using actual purchases at a Starbucks right across the street, those are things that you just wouldn't see from something that was a more professional sort of assassination attempt. You wouldn't be caught on camera either. So just looking at these two scenarios, I think we just need a lot more evidence.
Okay, that part's not true. Bro, it's New York City. Hella parts of New York City have cameras. Like, what do you mean? Also, y'all haven't caught him. The CEO flag is at half-mast. Beautiful. They're flying a Patagonia vest half-mast to honor the fallen sea. How tall do you think he is? I can't tell. I mean, he could be like 4'3" or even 6'8", honestly. Like, something in between. Like, sometimes when I look at the video, I'm thinking like, oh, that's like a 4'8" guy. You know what I mean? And then other times I look at the video, I'm like, maybe he's like 8'11". It's just weird. Guys, I can't begin to explain to you. I just can't seem to place my finger on what this guy looks like. This one individual guy, he just looks like everybody. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in this. Some other people in the chat have also made it clear they too have no idea who this guy is and can't seem to place what he looks like. He just has no like unique traits to him at all. Just so generic. Is he? People say he's white. I don't even know. Is he a white guy? Like I said, I'm face blind and race blind, so
evidence to understand which way it might go.
And some of that evidence, again, was found at the scene, those shell casings that we were just talking about. It said defend, deny, and depose, somehow inscribed on the bullet casings. What does that tell you?
Yeah, that would seem to suggest that there's some sort of a personal or ideological motive around this specific target. What you also saw in that video is it was going after that gentleman, but not anyone else. So this is not a random shooting. This is not a spree shooting that we might be talking about. This is somebody who was specifically targeted. You see those words there. It's probably attached to some sort of a motive, some sort of a grievance for going after that specific target.
So what are investigators doing now? I mean, there's cameras everywhere. They were able to track him to a certain point. But now what? As every hour passes, this as presumably gets more difficult.
I think that's another thing that's remarkable about this case is New York City's got more cameras than just about anywhere in the world. Maybe London and Singapore are two others. Where does this individual go for their escape route? They go into Central Park, which is one of the places that's most difficult to actually keep track of an individual over time. So from now forward, I'm sure the NYPD are moving very aggressively on really three things. The evidence around the purchases at the Starbucks and the evidence left behind, the gun casing. The gun casing will also have marks of the actual weapon. So they're going to try and see, is that weapon registered? Do they have some sort of ATF? Do they have some sort of evidence that ties?
That's insane, chat. Calling all my deductible daddies and premium princesses. The CEO of United Healthcare just expired, and we about to file a claim on this campy coffin cutie. Shout out to all my copay cutthroats who stay denying the system and working the gag order. Today's the day we snatch this funeral fantasy and serve it with a side of universal healthcare. No network restrictions, no pre-authorization. Send this to 10 of your network Nancy's or say bye-bye to that policy payout. If you get back 5, you're a certified claims queen. And if you get back 10, we all get in that single payer puss. Hashtag claims denied. Hashtag system approved. They found him? Yo, oh my God, police. This man right here. I'll have you know, he's got priors. He's got priors. Philadelphia suspect on the run. Dude, that looks exactly like him. Oh my God. Chat, you did it. Wow, I'm so proud of this community. This is how you know when you got 37,000 of the top minds, when they get together, we do it. We do the damn thing. We found him. NYPD, here he is. He's a Philadelphia native, okay? He goes by Benjamin, also known as BB. Please arrest this man. I know he has priors already. He has priors already, okay? Like some pretty bad crimes, actually, honestly, like mass starvation, like using starvation as a weapon. Think about that. Arrest him, please. Thank you. Another case closed.
Tied to a shooter, and then the escape route, you know, moving from Central Park and beyond. I'm not seeing much reporting on it yet. I'm hoping they can break that case open today.
Are you surprised they haven't caught him yet at this stage?
We have seen so many times in recent cases, Hoda, where they have closed in 24 hours. I expected overnight that there'd be more evidence about the escape route. I haven't seen it yet. I'm hopeful that sometime today we'll get more information.
Thank you, Clint. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Fox News. See, this is my I want to hear what these scumbags have to say. Because, like, the media loves stories like this because they love the clout. They're clout hungry. So they'll cover this. And in the process of covering it, like, they will kind of glaze the shooter and stuff. But Fox News, I don't think they're going to say anything nice. They're going to be like, this disgusting scumbag needs to get the book thrown at him. He needs to be assassinated.
News alert at 19 minutes before the top of the hour. The suspect, man, screen left right there, in Unitedhealthcare CEO Brian Thompson's cold-blooded murder, still on the run at this hour. As new reports say, Thompson was one of several executives reportedly facing a Department of Investigation for insider trading. Here to discuss, we've got former federal prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Andrew Cherkowski. Andrew, thanks for making the trip out to Long Island.
What the fuck are you guys getting PTSD when someone says top of the hour? I haven't done a top of the hour ad break in weeks. Ever since my contract expired, I haven't figured out a new way to debate you into subscribing. And people miss it. It's so funny. You guys don't know what you got till it's gone, by the way. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. Yeah. You take the top of the hour ad break away and you put up a parking lot, dude. That's what I did. That's what I did. I paved paradise, top of the hour ad break, to put up a parking lot. Woo, pop, pop, pop. Yeah. Sex Haver, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I don't know what's happening today. Dude, when I'm in England, I'm in a weird ass mood. Champagne Cyclist, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Whispers, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. One healthcare CEO gets clapped, and I've never heard you sing this much on stream in 5+ years. I don't know what you're talking about. This is a sad day for America, okay? Monty Moon, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I don't know why I'm smiling from ear to ear. It has nothing to do with that. That's so stupid. Why would you say that? I'm smiling to hide the pain. No one knows what it's like to be Brian. Is a trauma response. Yeah. We all grieve in our different ways, okay? We all grieve in our different ways. And I'm grieving right now. I'm grieving hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm so sad. Womack, thank you for the 5 get the subs. It's a sad laugh. Every time I laugh, is a laughter hiding the sadness. Paluki, thank you for the 5 get the subs.
When you watch the video, what does it look like to you?
It looks like somebody who's somebody trained in firearms, somebody who's capable of using it. He looks insensitive to the fact that he's killing somebody. So there's some degree of preparation, a lot of thought, and he was ready to do it. Whether that means he's a trained assassin, like some people are saying, perhaps it's a step short of that he just had practiced a lot with the firearm. But there is definitely a strong motive there. I think that what we see in that video is somebody who is very committed to following through with this crime. And so now there's all sorts of speculation about what that motive could have been, and whether that might lead us to actually finding him.
Okay, so that picture right there, I believe, is taken in a nearby Starbucks. And this was before the shooting. And the guy bought a couple of power bars and bought a water and got a cup. And so presumably there would be DNA on that. Obviously the cops have.
My bro had to stay hydrated, dude. What do you mean? He probably just wanted to go on a trek. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is a random guy. He needed his prote. Bro was yak. He needed his prote. Long day of biking around New York City, bro.
Already hoovered up everything in that Starbucks. But if he is a trained killer, he's probably wearing gloves.
Well,
Oxford Union has blocked me from talking with you. Oxford Union Girls Convo blocked me from you. Oxfordian lad. Bruv, they wouldn't get off you? What are you talking about? I was the kid who was waiting outside. Okay, there was a lot of kids waiting outside. This does not help me understand who this person is, but I took photos with everyone that I could. Talk was amazing today. Nice to see you. Oh, you did get a photo. Okay, then what are you complaining about? Yeah, he's not. Okay, going back to the story, he's not even hiding his face. He's a COVID truther. COVID is still very much a thing, and he's taking precaution. You cannot get upset about this, okay? I'm being for real. You can't. It's up. It is. Don't be. No, I'm not saying it's not. I knew as soon as I said that, there were going to be some people who were going to get mad at me because they think I'm joking. I mean, I am joking. He's not masking up for COVID, but I'm not joking when I say COVID is real. Oh my God. What? I was the first guy you met at the meet and greet yesterday at Cambridge. The one who said you were mostly right. Chat said I was glazing, but you deserve it. Come at me, chat. Hell yeah. This does not look like the other photo. Like the new photo that came out doesn't look like him at all.
Well, there's the probability that he might be wearing gloves, although we see in the video when he's holding the gun, it looks like he doesn't have that. So are they running that DNA? Are they actually getting something back? Or perhaps that's something in the garbage can that fella kind of that disappeared. I'm most interested in the bike. He went to a bicycle, city bike, and whether there's tracking software on that to be able to figure out where that bike went. X has some people speculating about that, but I'm sure the police are deep into all of that on-ground canvassing and looking at every piece they can.
And as people get up on this Thursday morning, the latest tantalizing clues come from, I believe, the New York Post, where apparently on 3 of the shell casings, the 3 shell casings, there are the word, somebody has etched the word deny, depose, defend, which also happens to be probably a coincidence, maybe not, the name of a book about how insurance companies operate and how they essentially work to not pay you.
Right. So there's many motives that I think people are identifying as a possibility. Is this somebody who's disgruntled with United?
It's crazy. They're like, this Brian guy was a real piece of shit. He could have a lot of enemies. Okay. You don't understand. Okay. It could be a disgruntled former employee. Says he sucked dick. Could be a former, patient. Could be a doctor who hated the process. Could be anybody really at this point. It's like we got 250 million minimum suspects here. Okay. They all have some reasonable motives, as a matter of fact.
Healthcare because of a denied coverage, something along that line? Or is this somebody potentially connected to this DOJ investigation, worried that perhaps he had information that they didn't want released, or many other reasons? But if this is actually somebody who's put in a lot of thought and was kind of an assassin here, could it have been misdirection to write something on those bullets to make it look like somebody who had a problem with the insurance company but had a different motive instead? So there's a lot of different ways this can go. The police have to be very careful careful not to jump to conclusions to avoid not finding the actual suspect. They're canvassing as much as they possibly can and looking at every possibility.
Misdirection. I never thought of.
I don't get it. Why aren't they saying that it's a gay lover? Like with Paul Pelosi, they were quick to jump on that. With Paul Pelosi, they were like, oh, it must be a gay lover. How come no gay lover? How come no gay lover theory? What's going on? It's the one shooter they're not transvestigating, dude. All of a sudden, definitely a man. I don't know. Could be anybody. Okay? I don't know what size this person is. I don't know what he looks like. How come y'all are so sure he's a man? You don't know. All of a sudden, one healthcare CEO gets shot, and everybody's Mr. Lawman over here. Everybody's taking it super seriously. Children get shot, everyone's like, oh, it's got to be trans person. Healthcare CEO gets shot, everyone's very serious with their news coverage. What happened? Let's wait for the facts. And by that, I mean, let's take a couple days off from this. Let's take a couple days off, maybe a couple weeks off from the manhunt. Let's put it aside and take a deep breath. And, maybe we'll get back to this with fresh eyes. All right?
Yeah, you have to be open to that.
Hey, look into the book. Maybe it's that kind of person. We don't know yet.
That's
Let's
right.
see if they catch him today. Andrew, thank you very much.
Hope so.
We have some breaking news that just came into our newsroom just a few minutes ago. State Comptroller Sean Scanlon says a controversial insurance policy will not be going into effect in our state. Yesterday, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield released information about a cap on anesthesia coverage, saying if the surgery extended past a time limit, it wouldn't be covered. Scanlon says that is not happening in our state. And Attorney General William Tong says that he's looking into the proposal as well.
Unitedhealthcare? What did we do this time? A PET scan? No, we barely cover human scans. Listen, sir, you can talk about this Beta Island all you want. We're not going to approve a continuous glucose monitor.
This is from a year ago. Who else is watching after the CEO was clapped in New York City? Damn. Wait, this guy kind of looks like the guy.
It's too much monitoring. Yeah, Zofran requires a prior authorization. Well, if the chemotherapy causes nausea, then we'll talk. No, we can only approve 10 milligram tablets. And if your patient even thinks about splitting those in half, we will surprise bill the hell out of them. Okay, but the chest pain didn't end up being an emergency. I know you have evidence that says this patient needs a CT scan for cancer surveillance, but counterpoint, no. I'm just saying, I'm just saying maybe the brain tumor will go away on its own. Preventative health care. I understand you don't think.
His response?
Okay, so I have been tagged hundreds of times about this Unitedhealthcare CEO murder. Usually when I get tagged this much, it's because somebody slept in their contacts or used Visine. Don't do those things. So this is different. First, let me just clear something up. Jimothy is innocent. He needs to stay gainfully employed. He would never do something like that. Also, two things can be true. One, that murder is bad, that even bad people who do bad things don't deserve to be executed. It's okay to think that. It can also be true that Unitedhealthcare is an evil corporation that has caused pain and suffering.
Ooh, you would say that, Jimothy. I don't know. Seems suspicious.
To millions and millions of people. This is a company that denies claims at a rate that's higher than every other insurer out there. They deny so many claims, they have to outsource claim denials to a company that gets paid per denial. This company is called EvaCore. Unitedhealthcare has vertically integrated their company to the point where they can dictate which medications patients are allowed to be on, not doctors. This routinely leads to patients who are chronically ill, who are stable on a medication regimen for years, who all of a sudden have to change medications.
Bro did the O.J. Simpson if I did it. Dude, this is the if I did it. I swear to God. He's like, listen, here are the many reasons as to why, I'm not losing sleep over this.
This is something that doesn't work, all because Unitedhealthcare got a better deal from a pharmaceutical company. Unitedhealthcare, or Optum's business strategy, is so anti-competitive that the FTC has sued them. And the CEO is the leader of this organization doing all of these terrible. People are hurting. People are financially devastated by our healthcare system. They're not able to get the treatment that their doctors recommend. So it's not that hard to understand the social media reaction to this shooting, which I would describe as unsympathetic. All the jokes, all the snark about the shooting, it's all a coping mechanism for a population of people who feel powerless in our healthcare system. Who are any of us to tell people?
No way. They're flooding it with fake tips. Wait, what the is this not working? Oh, god damn it. Come on. Let me have this for free. Okay. The authorities have been flooded with tips from all over the country, and each potentially credible one must be run, a senior law enforcement official said. Every question leads to 100 questions. This is a solid investigation, and I'm confident he's going to be an ex-client, ex-employer, or a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I don't think he's a conspiracy theorist, man. Like, this is... I don't think this person is, like, hallucinating. I'd be shocked. Everyone in New York City that recognizes the CEO assassin. Oh my God. What if he was at the Timothy Chalamet lookalike competition before this? That's why he was in the city. They're saying he used a fake Jersey ID. Investigators released pictures of showing the face of the man. They believe Brian Thompson outside a Midtown hotel. They said the words delay and deny were written on bullet casings. Senior law enforcement officials said he used a fake New Jersey identification to book a room at a hostel on Manhattan's Upper West Side where he stayed before the killing. Police still have not made any arrests. I mean, he even had a fake ID. Dude, listen, I've talked about this before. Victimless crimes, you know what I think about that.
People how to react to this very unique situation. Now, is violence the answer? No. Because I truly believe that there are far more effective ways at improving the healthcare. I'll tell you something that's been really encouraging to me over the last 24 hours. I've been making these healthcare related videos for years now, trying to educate people about the things that are going on in healthcare. And this is the first time where I've seen a lot of people, both in healthcare and outside of healthcare, actually discussing harmful health insurance policy. Take the Blue Cross Blue Shield a story about limiting the amount of anesthesia that can be given during a surgery. That story has gone viral all over all the platforms. There's major news organizations picking this up. And
silver linings, it's good. It's good to look at a silver lining in this situation, right? I mean,